my guru Goldratt says that if you want to have a comfortable life, find yourself a hammer, ideally a 5 kilogram hammer, and whack yourself in the head. And if you whack yourself hard enough, you will lie in bed until your last day. People will bring you food, you will watch TV all day long, so you will have a really comfortable life. But if you want to have a meaningful life, you have to be prepared for the ups and downs. And I much prefer the latter, the fact that actually real happiness doesn't only come from the state of being happy, but actually happiness comes when you put yourself through some tougher times. Hello and welcome to my next episode. Today it's Wednesday again. I tend to probably record a lot on Wednesday. It's probably because it's a shorter day, so I tend to get much more done in that day, surprisingly. But even now, before just delving into the work or the things that need to be done, it's always a good idea to first plan your day. So let's get going. Just going to correct the camera so it's pointing more in my direction. So it's very tempting just to get on the computer and get going, but then it's like a whirl just pulling you in, and suddenly the whole day is gone. So in order to stay on top of things, let's plan the day. Okay, now Wednesdays are good days in terms of getting things done, so I will get onto some rocks. Rocks are the things that you don't really like doing, things you've been procrastinating with, leaving for another time, so I guess this is the time. Neil is one of the directors at AJN. And it's our supplier, and I want to pay them a visit to showcase their business. So that's one thing. Next, I've got this as part of Innovate UK, because we received a grant for some R&D, or we're part of a consortium. We have access to business training, and as you know, I'm always hungry to learn. So I will fill out a form of interest, I think it's called, and see how it goes. But the course is called Scale Up. And it's funny because I was very confused initially, because we've done a Scale Up course in the United States and also here in the UK and so on. And then I received this email or even call, Scale Up. I'm like, well, are you the same group? And they're like, no, it's nothing to do with them. And surprisingly, they didn't even know the other company, even though the book that they've released is called Scaling Up. So one would have thought that someone who's got Scale Up in the name would know that there's a book with their name in it. Okay, the other thing I really need to or want to do is a catch-up meeting with Adam about the Stand Back book. Sorry, not the Stand Back book, Steel Addict book. So it's the sort of the small book that I'm writing. I've got the final copy edited version of it, so that's like a sigh of relief that is done. I did put in photos into the manuscript just so we can sort of get a feel of what goes where. And it's a bit tricky because you don't know. I mean, ideally I would like to have each right hand page as photos. I don't know, but just think that that's a good idea. Maybe it's a bad idea. But the problem is that you don't know where to stick in the text until you know exactly what the formatting will be and the size of the book. I don't know what the size of the book should be. The sizes are all over the place. I've no idea why. One would have thought that, I don't know, it should be just A5 or, I don't know, American sizes, but when I measured my bookshelf, it just seems like it's just a random number. It's like people on a flick a coin and decide what the size of their books will be. But then the margins, then the the spacing between the lines, the font itself, the size, so many variables. So yeah, it's going to be tricky. But we'll get there. But what I need to do is have a meeting, because as you can see, or actually you will see in a second on the board, I did introduce this before. We've got our plan for publishing a book. So we are literally approaching this date. We still got some time, but we've already hit this deadline. We're ahead of time, ahead of schedule. So let's just see what needs to be done. We've got our tea sorted. Actually, I need to still go to solicitors today because I need to get a document proofread. Not proofread, sorry, I'm talking publisher's language. Certified, an ID certified, which I find ridiculous because I have to certify a document and then scan the certificate and send. So why is a scanned certificate more valid than a scanned original document? It's definitely the result of bureaucracy. It used to be the case in the past where indeed there were no scanners and a certified copy was a certified copy done by a professional and all of that. But if we have to now scan that piece of paper, which is a photocopy and someone's signature, which anyone can sign, is more valid than the scan of the original document. So yeah. By the way, there's this nice story about bureaucracy. It's a friend of mine, Jacob, who told me this. And the story goes, Mom, why do we cut the chicken both ends before we stick it into the oven? And the mom says, do you know what? I don't know. Let's ask Grandma, because we always used to do it. So they both go to Grandma. Grandma, why do we always cut a chicken both ends before we stick into the oven? She was like, actually, it's a good question. I don't know. We always used to do it. Let's go and ask Great Grandma, still around. So they all go to Great Grandma. It's like, Great Grandma, why do we chop the chicken both ends before we stick it into the oven? And she answers, oh, because before the Second World War, the oven we had was so small that in order for a chicken to fit, we had to chop both ends of it. So it's a great story that explains the downsides of not traditions but things or habits that were needed or were required for some reason in the past, but then it remains as a tradition for no apparent reason. I've got an interesting setup here, basically a laptop connected straight to the screen on the monitor, and I've set into settings where the screen isn't used at all. I always used to have a PC at my desk, but then when moving offices I just thought, well, actually, why have two computers if you can have one? And I always have my laptop with me because I need it, or I don't know when I need it, therefore I need it all the time with me. So I decided to experiment, and if after a few months indeed I don't switch on my PC, then it can be scrapped. Okay, let's try another call, which is a bit of a sticky call. Let's give it a go.
Hi Michael, it's Sarah.
Hello, how are you?
I'm alright, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Well, first of all, big sorry for the loss.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, it wasn't good news for anyone.
No.
It's really weird when you, I don't know, find out someone dies. Someone who was here, not in this office, but next door, literally there, behind this wall. We've walked around here, we've walked around the other place as well, and yeah, we used to call each other every now and then for sort of catch-up calls. And this person is no more. It's really weird. It also shines light onto the purpose of life. We all are going to die, that's a given. So why why we do what we do becomes very important. Do you want to be the richest man in the graveyard? Obviously not. So that means you have to have a meaningful life. Now, meaningful, does that mean a happy life? What does happy life mean? My guru Goldratt says that if you want to have a comfortable life, find yourself a hammer, ideally a 5-kilogram hammer, and whack yourself in the head. And if you whack yourself hard enough, you will lie in bed until your last day. People will bring you food, you will watch TV all day long, so you will have a really comfortable life. But if you want to have a meaningful life, you have to be prepared for the ups and downs. And I much prefer the latter, the fact that actually real happiness doesn't only come from the state of being happy, but actually happiness comes when you put yourself through some tougher times, when you achieve things. I guess that's what Maslow meant with his pyramid of needs, that it's not just comfortable, it's also self-esteem, it's also fulfillment, achieving things. So yeah, complex, but yeah, it's always food for thought when there are these major events like someone dying. Let's see how our robot is going.
Okay, so I am now working on developing a welding procedure for end plate to the beam.
Yeah.
And with help of the CAD software, apparently it's possible to weld the beam all around in a single movement without taking the welding gun off from the plate.
Wasn't that possible before?
It's technically it should be possible,
Yeah.
but doing that by hand would take much longer than.
Because you need to adjust the angle of the gun and the robot itself so it doesn't hit
Yes.
the beam.
Exactly.
Are you assuming that this beam is like continuously high, like as if it never ends, so you can never sort of go above this beam?
Well, no, for now it's
Okay.
it's just basically for me to learn
Yeah.
the pathing.
Because if you, I don't know, in this, let's say have 200 millimeters, but then you end up with a 1/2 meter stub, then it might
will be-
hit
yes.
the beam.
It will be actually different, but now
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just for learning
Yeah, just to,
purposes.
yeah, good. Okay, nice.
Doing small steps. In
Can you play it so the
Yes.
robot moves? Okay,
Yes,
well,
I
let's
am
see.
able to play it.
Be exciting.
So, you'll be able to see.
Is it doing the same there, or it's not connected live? No.
It's not connected live yet. Oh, I need to reset. Let's try it again. Same issue. No, it should work. So I can see
Yeah.
how it's going to move. So it's all continuous weld.
Wow.
Again.
Yeah, but it does go above the beam indeed. Some
Yes,
places,
it does.
yeah,
Currently
yeah.
it does, but as I said, it's
Yeah,
like
it's to get it going. and
yeah,
then,
a process of small steps.
Yeah. Good. Okay, well, exciting. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please watch out for more. Please subscribe to the channel and remember to ask Michael K.